Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Happy New Year's, 5 weeks late. I haven't talked to some of you since last conference and look forward to seeing many of you, well, hopefully all of you in Phoenix here in about a month. Can you believe it? Tonight is a topic that I have been, it's kind of been an inconvenient truth in my business for, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 months. Joe has been bugging me for probably 9 months now. Jeff, you got to get caught up with LinkedIn. And I know. So my commitment here in 2020 in my own business is to get up to speed and get using this big lever called LinkedIn. So I want to tell everyone who's tuned in here at the outset, I'll say it a couple times. If you do have questions through this, it's going to be about a half an hour. If you do have questions through this, post them up in the chat. And we have the Honorable James Ketchum fielding those pitches, and we're going to, if we have time, address a lot of these questions here at the end. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeff Olson, and my wife and I have been in the Juice Plus business for 20 years. We are blessed to be in a position to get up every day and have the wonderful responsibility to try to pay this lifestyle forward. So tonight's topic is really about, as you all know, LinkedIn and really what's happened and why this is really the year of LinkedIn. My story, my wife started paying the mortgage, got my attention, and I joined her and have worked for her for the last 15 years. I met Joe at a Juice Plus conference. For some of you who may not know, Joe spoke at our national conference, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I met him on the street, and we had dinner together, and we struck up a friendship. I have been ideas and business thoughts and just getting to know each other here over the years. And I call on him when I need sort of an understanding of social media platforms. He is in the business of conversations. He is the CEO of Edge Theory. The product you all may be familiar with in the Juice Plus community is a product called Soundboard, Healthy Living Soundboard. Joe works with governments and Mayo Clinic and Match.com, and as I have come to learn, Joe, Soundboard is now the #1 social media sort of onboarding platform in direct sales, which I think is pretty cool. And for those of you that are leaders here tonight, if you think about a new, rep coming in to the business, trying to, what I think about and what I talk to our crew about is, imagine, the 4 social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn is sort of cars or tires on your car. And are they fully, do they have enough air in them? And if you give yourself your own kind of self-diagnostic, my LinkedIn tire is pretty flat, and my Twitter tire is pretty flat. My Instagram's okay. My Facebook is really full. But how does it? So as a middle-aged man, I can't really go out and solicit 20-something, gals on Instagram, but I can on LinkedIn, or vice versa. How does a 20-year-old go out and try to do business with a middle-aged person, right? How do they have enough street cred? And if you think about what LinkedIn is, it is the platform of professionals. It's the platform of business. And in my mind, I think of it as a B2B conversation really out of the chute. And I want to share this statistic with you, and then I'll introduce Joe, and we'll kind of blast through some of these questions. But this is a pretty powerful. This article was written by Jeff Weiner, who's the CEO of LinkedIn. And if you just think about your business, whether it's on the customer acquisition side or it's trying to reach out and really recruit up, I think of LinkedIn as helping me recruit up, because I'm trying to hit the ground running in a business context. Perhaps can go either way. But if you think about people and their work and their job, and the emotions and thoughts they have about what they do, this is what's going on in the job world today. This is what's going on. People that are on LinkedIn, the top reasons people are either frustrated or quit their job, and this is penned by the owner and CEO, the CEO of LinkedIn. He says, most people don't feel a sense of connection. They don't have they don't feel like their manager has their back. Their manager doesn't take time to invest in them. They don't feel they're asked to pursue their highest aim. They don't feel they get coaching to kind of realize their highest self. They don't get healthy feedback. They don't feel the manager cares for them. They don't have friends who feel like they belong. Imagine that. We offer a place where people can belong. And they don't really have a sense of belonging in their work. And so those are just some highlights that I took from this article penned by the CEO. And what I've learned from Joe, as I said, over the last 9 months, is LinkedIn is not only poised and positioned, but they are in a place to help those of us in direct sales reach out and to grow our business, save us time. At the end, for those of you who are just tuning in, Joe's going to show you some new technology pieces that his company, Soundboard, has implemented as it relates to LinkedIn with some artificial intelligence, how you can gather data from people on LinkedIn and then connect with them in a relevant way through the idea of timely content. As I said, Joe is a CEO of LinkedIn, or excuse me, CEO of Edge Theory, and Soundboard as a platform has been a tool that I've used with our team. And I will tell you that one of the as a top producer with a large team, one of the benefits of their platform that I use is this digital newsletter, sort of this renaissance of a newsletter, being able to make newsletter on the fly. We're not going to talk a lot about that. But Joe, thank you for being with us tonight. Everyone is excited to hear about why LinkedIn, why bother. So maybe start out at a high level and first of all, distinguish for us why LinkedIn works, what about it, what matters about it, how it's a little different than the other platforms. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I see a lot of people I know here join us, some of the people from the past. So, so I mean, to me, LinkedIn, a big picture, take the 4 platforms that I know all you guys use, of course, which is Facebook and Instagram are 2 that y'all use heavily. All network marketers do, direct sales. And those are extremely powerful platforms to primarily, connect with your warm market, which is where you start, right? Those are incredible platforms, but they're more private in nature. I mean, you can post publicly on Facebook and you can post publicly on Instagram, but of course, most of the time you're only connected with the people that your friends. And so they're much more private in nature and they're very powerful to go after your friends, your family, your warm market, and then do groups and so forth like that. But the big difference when we think of Twitter and LinkedIn being what we're talking about tonight, is that they're much more public in nature. And so where you always got to start to build a business with your warm market and those that when you really want to get out to those you don't know, and to those that don't know who you are, you're gonna have to get into more public platforms. So when you look at all these social graphs, Facebook is what am I doing? Instagram is what I like. Twitter is more what am I thinking? And LinkedIn is just a blend. It's a blend of all the platforms. It is no longer a resume, right? It's if you don't know the stats, I've been out there quite a bit lately. Microsoft bought LinkedIn. People don't realize this for $27 billion. They're serious about it. Microsoft, as we all know, has 1 billion customers. So LinkedIn, if you haven't noticed it, it's becoming more and more just people see it more, right? And where people used to go to it once a year, they're going to it once a month, right? And people like myself, I live and breathe on LinkedIn. It's where I message people. It's not a place where, it is a place where I go look at people's professional background and so forth, but it's where I go meet people. It's where I converse with people. I use it more than email. And so it's very public. And so there's 2 things I'd say that if there's 2 things to take away tonight as we talk about it. Number one, it is a huge fishing hole, right? We're here to grow business. We're here to get more customers. Where everybody is, myself, you guys. It is the number one place you can go find new people, right? So it's a huge fishing hole. There's 610 million people on LinkedIn. And that's grown about 100 million over each of the last couple of years. I think it was like 400 million when they bought it. So it's growing like crazy. There's lots of active users on it. So number one, it's just a huge place to go meet people, professionals. You make that great point with the LinkedIn folks. It's a place where people go that want people to know that they're looking for a job. So it's a great place to go find customers, a place to find team members. So I think it's logical for direct sales to be in LinkedIn, number one. It's a big
let me just say this again. It's like, imagine, me trying to, interact and get in conversation with a 28-year-old Instagrammer. but I could look at that person, go find them in LinkedIn, and then reach out into LinkedIn. It just seems a little space for me to try to interact with a 28-year-old young gal who's maybe in the healthy living space, and vice versa,
Professional.
right?
Yeah, it's
As a professional, right?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram are much more hybrid, where you're sort of playing with your friends / a friend area playground with now professional and trying to make a business out of it. You got to do it. It's a very powerful place. But LinkedIn is business. I don't post on LinkedIn that my kid just won the state cross country championship. I do on Facebook,
right.
But I would never do that on LinkedIn. But I can bring in all types of. So number one, I think, Jeff, and everybody on the call, it's a big fishing hole that if you want to get out there and be ahead of folks, it's this place you got to go begin to think, how am I going to go out there and build, nurture, grow, engage relationships. Number two, what people do not understand, and I've been saying this back with the Juice Plus days with Twitter as well, is that it is a public platform, meaning I might be connected with, 5,000 people on LinkedIn, but sometimes when I post good content, I'll get 30,000 people will look at my content. Okay. That's huge. That's not a typical post, but it's a public platform. And the best thing I can tell you what I mean by that, and I know I talk real fast, Jeff, so I'll slow down. When I mean it's public, when you post on LinkedIn or you post on Twitter, let's just talk about LinkedIn. That is a public web page every time you do it, right? And so just like—
and when you say public web pages, that means like all of the search engines, like the Google search, will recognize it as a distinct site, a page. Yes, okay.
And while we're talking, I'm going to share my page just to show an example. But so when you go Google Joe Stradinger, you Google me, you're going to see, and Google is going to go find everything about me. They might find my website, but they're going to find every LinkedIn post. They're going to find every Twitter. Here's what I just did about Seattle and tech workers. Here's one about democratizing experimentation, a really cool business article. Here's stuff about winning the soccer tournament. But everything you see about me on LinkedIn and Twitter shows up in a Google search result. So if you want to be Googled and you want to set an impression, start tweeting and start posting on LinkedIn every day, and you will be indexed. And again, what that means is every time you go post, that is a different web page, no different than if you went and spent money with a webmaster and built a bunch of web pages. So if you go post 5 times, that's like building 5 web pages.
Wow.
And just like Google indexes web pages, they're indexing much more what people are talking about as opposed to static websites. So
wow.
I'm not a big SEO kind of guy. I think it's overrated in many ways, but this is the new SEO. We've been saying it for years, but so when I go talk—
when you say indexing, what my brain translates into, if you want to, I guess in my language, social proof, over time that indexing will develop an inventory of content that the engines will find you, and then if you meet someone at a cocktail party and they Google you, perhaps your LinkedIn and Twitter posts will come up, and they'll say, oh, well, this guy, this gal is walking the talk. They're on these platforms, and they can see. I call them the 3 C's. As social proof in my mind, it's kind of become the yellow pages or the business card across these platforms. And I call you got to have continuity, you got to have consistency, and you got to have capacity, meaning there has to be sort of this continuous flow of this river of this conversation. And when you're a new rep, how do you get that going? I know your platform helps people find content and get it out there across all these platforms. But talk to us about, you told me once about how you distinguish the 4 platforms, like you like, and Facebook is what you're doing. What are those one-liners? So those one-liners are really good.
Yeah, well, I mean, Facebook is what am I doing, right? And how great my kids are and so forth. Instagram or Pinterest are what we call likes graphs. So Facebook is more of a social what am I doing graph. It was the first, of course, very powerful. Instagram and Pinterest and those type graphs, social platforms, are more about what I like. And then Twitter is more about what I think. It's a conversational graph. And then, of course, again, LinkedIn is all of them. It's less about how great I am, kind of stuff, but it is about what am I thinking? It is about what am I, who am I? What do I sell? And again, I think when you think of content and you think of what is our goal? I mean, I don't know a business out there that the goal is not getting discovered. And 99% of the battle, Jeff, we talk about this all the time, 99% of the battle, no matter who you are, no matter what you sell, is simply getting discovered. That is 99% of the battle. It doesn't matter how big I deal with big brands, and still to this day, most marketers think it's talking about the pitch, and the pitch is absolutely useless if you don't connect and engage first, right? And so how do you connect and engage? And I think, especially when you think about LinkedIn, there's 3 types of levels of content I can post as Joe. I can post content about my company, but that'll be in your face, right? My brochure. Or I could post content about my industry, marketing, or more importantly, I could post content about you, right? The customer. And so when you think of content, there's me content, how great I am. You got to give the pitch sometime. There's then content about my industry. So let's take Juice Plus. There's content about the product, right? There's content about healthy living, but then there's product about football or little kids or healthy children, or whatever is meaningful to my customer. So most of your content should be them. Any good insurance person or any good salesperson knows how do you invite yourself in their circle. So on LinkedIn, it's all about inviting yourself into their circle, right? What do they care about? How do I connect with someone? And that's why it's called social media to begin with. I think people abuse it all the time. But so when LinkedIn, think about it. If it's a professional network, it's got direct salespeople, network marketers, it's got CEOs of Fortune 50 companies. What is it that interests that person you want to connect with? And that is what you should post. Has nothing to do about you. And so LinkedIn is probably the best place to really do what we all should be doing, which is to actually, invite ourselves into someone's circle. It's amazing. So again, it could be random. If you're selling healthy living, and again, I love Juice Plus. I've used it for now 21 years. You don't have to sell me on it, right? I know, I believe in that. But if you want to connect with someone and you're selling Juice Plus, and you want to connect with someone in the tech world because you're selling in Southern California or Northern California, well, go talk about artificial intelligence. That's a really clever article, right? That will get you noticed by people who actually care about artificial intelligence, who, by the way, do need to live healthy. Right? That's all about connections. And so I think that's the key thing to always remember, is how am I finding content that's connecting with them? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so we've got about just 10 minutes left. So, yeah. Your company's in the business of content and conversation and helping people figure out what to say, and then giving them the capacity to sort of deliver it, across all 4 platforms. You can automate it, Twitter if you want, and then you have this whole newsletter thing. But show us, just briefly Soundboard, and then take us into LinkedIn and show us the new AI you guys have developed, and how we can, maybe do a 30-day challenge on LinkedIn and start using that.
Yeah, the platforms, people have seen it's getting bigger and bigger every day. It has millions and millions of sources. But just say, for example, I'm looking for you, and you can go look at any kind of content on the platform. Colorado, that interests you, right? That interests Jeff, and so I go grab a cool article about Colorado hires a new coach, right? I can find that article. I'll look at it. It gives me what to say. We algorithmically give you what to say with this article, so that if I want to get Jeff's attention, I know he cares about Colorado. I'm gonna grab this really cool article that we've curated for you, and I'm gonna go grab a really cool thing to say with it. And one click later, I can do anything with it, right? We're gonna focus on LinkedIn here in a second, but I can put it on Facebook, LinkedIn. I can message it, do anything with it, right? That's what it is. How do we go take content plus the smart thing to say with it, so we look smart, and we put it out there so we get attractive. So, one of the things that we're launching as we speak that's available to people who are on Soundboard is we've built a very special extension. If you're familiar with Chrome, most of y'all probably use Chrome as a browser. This is a really unique way that we'll show real quickly what we're doing with the platform, so that we put the platform Soundboard not as a separate place you go, but actually inside the workflow. This is going to come out with Facebook and all the platforms, but this is LinkedIn. So if I'm on LinkedIn and I look up Jeff Olson, I'm just on LinkedIn, I'm searching Jeff Olson, okay? I have a one-time, when you go sign up for Soundboard, if you're not on Soundboard, you'll have this. You have it, download the extension one time. I'm going to be looking at Jeff, and all of a sudden this thing pops up on my screen and says, share an article that might interest Jeff Olson. And what we're doing in the background is now we've embedded Soundboard into your workflow. So you don't even think about what Jeff cares about. We're looking at your LinkedIn page. We know what Jeff cares about because LinkedIn tells us, and instantly we're giving you articles that Jeff would care about.
So just repeating it back, if I'm understanding, your technology sits and kind of hovers on top of LinkedIn, and then sort of screen scrapes or mines my page, and then uses your content to then serve up articles that would be of interest to me that you can share. I got it.
The current workflow of Soundboard that all you guys, we have tens of thousands of people get it every month, is that people go to Soundboard and they can go there, they can search anything, they can put on any platform, right? It's very much a workflow people do every morning over a cup of coffee, and in 5 minutes you can do a lot more than you could ever do with the hours you don't have in a day, right? So we're saving time and all that good stuff. But now it's being embedded in these platforms that we're already inside of. So we don't have to leave the platform. So if I'm in LinkedIn and I'm looking at Jeff and I'm like, I want to get his attention, right? What we're doing is reading your page. You, Jeff, have acquired Soundboard. You own Soundboard. You have a license to it. You're paying 10, 15 bucks a month, right? And so what we're doing behind the scenes is you've allowed us on the Chrome to look, and I'm now Joe looking for Jeff. It's reading Jeff's about section. It's reading Jeff's interest. And when I click on this button, it's automatically going back to Soundboard, bringing back relevant content about Colorado, because it knows that your page says you like Colorado.
So let me give you an example of how powerful this is. So I'm helping my neighbor do a startup, and I'm helping him with recycling. And when this came up, I'm like, recycling? I'm not in recycling. And I'm like, wait a second. Because I have it on my LinkedIn, his company, because I'm helping him. Yep. And so grab that recycling thing. That's amazing.
So here's the article, and over here, just like Soundboard, again, it's embedded in LinkedIn. It gives you what to say. And I'm going to say, assume that you like recycling. I'm just going to grab this content real quickly, and I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to send that to you inside LinkedIn. Yep. I'm just going to open up LinkedIn. I'm going to share in a private message. Right? It already gave me what to say. There it is, right? And I'm going to type in Jeff Olson. And one post later now, I've sent that in a private message to you. Wow. Or I could say, let me go give you one other example. Say that get out of Jeff, and I'm going to go look up this gentleman in Seattle I was just talking to today. Very impressive guy. He actually used to run IT at Microsoft. He was in charge of the LinkedIn acquisition, a good friend. So I'm now on Tobias's page, okay? And I'm going, I haven't seen Tobias in a couple months. Let me get, but I want him and people like him in Seattle, because I sell in Seattle. I want more people like Tobias to see me, not just one-to-one message him. I'm going to grab the articles from Tobias, and I'm going to go grab an article on, he's very tech, of course. I'm going to grab a really cool article about Amazon. And then once I grab that article, I'm going to go, this is a pretty interesting thing to say here. Obviously a lot of voice. And I'm going to go put it on LinkedIn publicly, right? As opposed to, all I do is share in a post, already save what I want to say. It gave me the right hashtag and post. Now that is on my public page. So whether you're going one-to-one to Jeff Olson or whether I'm going to one-to-many, right? Again, it's about one-to-one or one-to-many. It's all social.
And you said it even your algorithms are, your technology figures out what the best hashtags are to use too.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, everything here. If we go back to an article, this article about production article. This guy loves Apple TV, so it pulled up an article about Apple TV because his LinkedIn profile said that. Over on the left, Soundboard, like it has done for years, it's gotten incredibly smarter over the years, gives me what to say with this article. So I can share the article with him.
With the hashtags, yeah.
Hashtags, yeah. I mean, you name it. The right thing, it's the hallmark. I think I like this. It's the Hallmark card store, right? It's about giving me what is the Hallmark card that I need right now to get Tobias's attention.
So kind of, we just got a few minutes. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. I guess talk to people about kind of your vision for LinkedIn. I mean, what do you see LinkedIn becoming over the next, a few years? It's certainly, there's momentum, it's growing. In my little brain, it's my social media platform of choice for 2020. My goal is to really begin to use it to meet and connect and really reach out business to business with professionals. Why has direct sales, or what are you seeing with LinkedIn as it relates to direct sales, or is it maybe we're just playing catch up? It seems like business is already there, and we in network marketing or direct sales, we're just trying to kind of catch up to the conversation because already.
Yeah, we work, now with probably every company out there in the industry. I mean, not with companies, but with reps. Correct. We only go to reps, right? And so we never talk about anybody's products, but just doing. Yes, I can tell you, it is being jumped on by network marketers. I mean, it's still, you'd be head of the pack if you did it tonight, but it is a place that is a big watering hole, and people that are, and it's not just, we use the words loosely: network marketing, direct sales, gig economy, hustle economy, passion economy. The fact is, everybody is a professional, and this
so
is
I see that little. I see your logo up there on the LinkedIn, the little B at Chrome. Is that, if I have that Chrome widget, is that where it's going to show up in my LinkedIn?
And again, it's just a special way to use Soundboard when you're in LinkedIn. And if you sign up, if you're not a member, you can sign up. You're going to have that widget. That widget's now learning how to work inside Salesforce, Facebook, all the platforms. So
be all platforms.
Yeah.
Well, we're just about a few minutes left, and so maybe here's what I'm going to do. Just with myself and a few on our team, we're kind of taking the 30-day LinkedIn challenge to really kind of focus on it, and like everything's a habit. So my goal is to sort of get into this LinkedIn habit and begin to use this as my sort of default platform of choice to post. I know you wanted to make an announcement just for folks who want to try to give you guys a test.
Jeff, real quick, before we get there, I got a question from the audience. Joe, could you just clarify a little bit more? I know you walked through it, but once more, when you get ready to share the article, where is it going when you pick, what you're doing there?
Yeah. So again, the widget today, the normal Soundboard, right? And the Soundboard is something you can use as and you grab any article and you can share it anywhere. So just take this article, you can share it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and so forth. Okay.
And you can text it, and you can email it.
Text it. I mean, I use it for Messenger. I use it for text, and I'm on the desktop. So if I was on my mobile right now, you would see text, but it works with anything. Hootsuite, Buffer, right? It's taking that article and do anything with it. Okay.
Got it.
Now, once you're in, if you have have you downloaded the Chrome extension? Now, when you're in an actual platform, instead of starting the workflow in the morning over a cup of coffee at Soundboard, right? We're now inside your workflow on LinkedIn. So you can do it either way. So to answer the question, James, is once I'm in now looking at Soundboard from inside LinkedIn, I grab this article on the coach, in Colorado's coach. I can actually, by the way, didn't mean to get into this, Jeff, but I can search and find something else, by the way. I could search anything on Jeff, now it's giving me this, but I could go up here and type in, whatever, skiing, right? But when I do that, we know Jeff loves skiing, and I grab this cool article about handy ski trip packaging list, whatever. Once I click that article, to answer the question, I can, since I'm in LinkedIn, I'm going to grab the article. I read it. I like an interesting article. Jeff would really like this. Here's a really cool, or here's a cool with cool hashtags. I'm going to click on this. Once I click on that, I can either, to answer the question, stay in LinkedIn and put it either as a direct message to Jeff, or I could say, you know what? I want to get more customers in Colorado, and I want to post a really cool article about Colorado to my entire public page. So I could post it LinkedIn to many as a public post, or I could post it privately. And so when I click on LinkedIn, LinkedIn has a choice, and I can choose to either post it publicly or privately, right? Inside LinkedIn. And that's something you can do. My LinkedIn is, here we go. So I can, now that I've pushed that button, I can share in a post or share as a private message with Jeff. Or back up, I could say, remember, this is important because remember, LinkedIn is not I don't want to leave this call thinking that it's all about posting just on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a fishing hole that has tons of information about people that will help you have a better phone call, help you to have a better visit in person, and help you to know what to post. Does that make sense? So use LinkedIn. So I might go use LinkedIn to find this guy, this character named Jeff Olson, who sounds interesting, whether I know you or not. And I'm going to go quickly grab things that interest you before I pick up the phone, and it's going to give me what to say. Does that make sense?
Or let's say I'm meeting them for coffee, you know, in an hour. I can go in here, look and pull up an article, and I can that article today on.
It's about what to say. Yeah. It's about what to say, what to post. And so that's so important. And so when you're in LinkedIn, what's so cool about LinkedIn, which has all this information that LinkedIn's already told us, it told us what you're interested in. So all I did was do a search. But then, right, when I click on this, I can then take that same information I just gleaned from your LinkedIn page, and I can go Facebook message you right now. Right?
Wow. So you can cross the platform.
I can just go right now and go into Facebook inside while I'm at LinkedIn, take the information I learned in LinkedIn about you because it's professional, and then turn around and go put that in whatever, Messenger, whatever.
Yep. Wow, James, do we have any more questions? We're kind of on the half hour here, so I want to respect everyone's time.
That's all so far.
Okay. Hey, Joe, we're a few minutes over, so why don't you let know? I know you're offering a free 30-day test drive on your technology, and why don't you let people know? James, if you want to, I think you said you had a link. You can post that link to the free 30-day test drive in the chat. I'll post that up on the NMD page for those.
Did you post that, James? There you go.
I posted it.
Tell people about that 30-day free test drive.
Yeah.
Joe.
So yeah, this is, I mean, we do this a lot now, but it's a 30-day trial. So I mean, if people on this phone call already have it, you already have it, and you'll be receiving an email very shortly with the new Chrome extensions that we've been talking about on LinkedIn. But if you're not on Soundboard, sign up. It's a free 30-day trial, and you will get the Chrome extension. And then when we have the other things are released, you'll have those as well. But again, 2 takeaways, Jeff. Number 1, LinkedIn is a big place. Learn how to go fish there. Learn how to go find information, and not even get into the pros and cons. We should probably do a version 2 here, Jeff, on just how to actually get in LinkedIn and look at people. But number 1, use it as a place to go learn, right, and connect with people, because it's a big place. And I think number 2, remember, it's going to help you go find people who don't know you. Yeah. And that's how you grow a business. I mean, it's not about just your warm market. If you really want to, build a business, you're going to have to find people who don't know you. And this is a great tool that gives you really cool information and context to go talk to people who don't know you.
Right. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We want to keep this short and sweet. Thank you, Joe, for taking time to give us a little bit of insight into LinkedIn. I know it's my focus. I'm doing my own 30-day LinkedIn challenge. So I'm going fishing. So
all right.
God bless everyone. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the field of play. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, James. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jeff.
You bet.